It seems that nowadays, any issues related to the likes of Lewis Hamilton and Meghan Markle are racially coded. Or the Baftas are labeled racists for producing an all-white winners list for the umpteenth time. But is it right to claim that the all-white winners list produced by the Baftas is down to institutional racism? Or are there other legitimate factors that account for an all-white winners list? Is it right to claim that Lewis Hamilton was robbed of his record-breaking 8th world title because of his skin color? Is it right to claim that the media coverage of Meghan Markle is racially biased? These are pertinent questions that we will attempt to address in this and subsequent videos. To start with, if you are not aware that these are rhetorical questions, then you need to watch and learn, and if you are aware, then you should watch and confirm. In the first instance, there are issues related to people of color that are race neutral. There is no suggestion that Kwasi Kwarteng's firing by Liz Truss or Will Smith's sanction by the Oscars Academy were down to race. So, it is possible to criticize people of color without being accused of racism. There is also no suggestion that the line at the discretion of a group that lacks diversity. So, the Baftas' predisposition to all-white winners lists is due to the lack of diversity in its processes and decision-making body. The fact that the Baftas have been unable to effect meaningful change, despite their best efforts over at least 8 years, is a clear sign that even when institutions recognize the need to change, effecting that change can be challenging. What chance then for institutions like the royal palace and the toxic media who are not willing to acknowledge their institutionalized racism? Despite overwhelming evidence, some in the media like Philip Schofield and company repeatedly claim that Meghan's coverage is not racially biased. This attempted gaslighting was so surreal that an ill-advised society of editors issued a statement denying any racism in Meghan's coverage. Of course, the public backlash that swiftly followed brought that matter to an abrupt conclusion. The statement was promptly withdrawn, and its chief resigned in disgrace. Sadly, despite what should have been a watershed moment, the institutionalized racism is so deeply entrenched that the toxic media doubled down on its race hate to continue to monetize the outrage that it engenders. They continued in their odious practice of attacking the likes of Lewis Hamilton and Meghan Markle by publishing racially coded attack pieces to whip up thinly disguised race hate, masquerading as race-neutral criticism. For example, prior to the missed watershed moment, Meghan Markle had been criticized for posing with the same bunch of flowers that Kate Middleton was praised for posing with. Lewis Hamilton had been criticized for living in a tax haven when his predecessors and successors did the same thing without any criticism. Post-watershed, Lewis and Meghan are still getting accused of all sorts of heinous crimes ranging from walking to breathing, to name but a few. In another example of institutionalized racist bias, the media routinely use the false equivalence principle to air both sides of a debate even when it is public knowledge that one side is lying or misleading. For example, when Camilla DeVille was coordinating press attacks against Harry's mom in an attempt to mitigate her affair with her tampon, there were sections of the media that were quick to jump to Diana's robust defense and highlight Cruella's duplicity. However, several decades later, as Camilla DeVille is coordinating yet another attack, this time on Harry's wife, there are barely any mainstream media coming to Meghan's defense. Instead, it is social media that is coming out overwhelmingly in support of Meghan, to the extent that the palace and the mainstream media are hemorrhaging credibility. Why is mainstream media being slow or unwilling to defend Meghan? To show that the practice extends beyond Meghan, if Lewis Hamilton was white, would the British media, including the BBC and Channel 4, have been so eager to gaslight or downplay the theft of his record-breaking 8th title? Here again, it is on social media that one will find the staunchest and unrelenting support for Sir Lewis. Event after event, it is becoming clearer that there is a significant and widening disconnect between the mainstream media that is bent on twisting the truth for profit or propaganda, and those on social media who are committed to the truth. It is also clear that the mainstream media is less inclined to rally to the defense of people of color. It should therefore be a matter of extreme concern to the royal palace and the toxic media that the free-flowing support for Harry and Meghan dwarfs the contrived efforts to denounce them. The Baftas should also note that the longer it takes to make any substantive progress with racial diversity, the harder it will be to regain credibility. We will continue to address questions of societal concern and other related matters in future videos. Thank you for your kind attention and subscribe to be notified when new videos are uploaded.